And welcome to Theater Talk Boston. Today we're joined by Lindsay Joan and Laurie Wells, who play mother-daughter duo Ellie and Catherine Blake in Freaky Friday, playing at North Shore Music Theater from July 9th through July 21st. Hi, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Pretty great. I think most of us are familiar with the story of Freaky Friday, where a mom and her teenage daughter magically swap bodies right before their mom's wedding, whether it be from the famous novel from the 70s or the movies. Of course, I love the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis one. When were you both introduced to this show? Did you grow up reading the book, or when was your first time experiencing it?
Well, this is Laurie, and what's funny is that I didn't really know anything about it. I mean, I'd heard the name Freaky Friday, but I truly had not seen the movie. I didn't know there was a musical. I really had no knowledge of this whatsoever. And then I start talking to people about the audition, and everyone is like, oh, no, there's books, there's movies, there's a new musical, So then I started watching everything and fell very quickly in love. And then, of course, the audition process, fell in love with the material.
Right.
What about you?
Hi, this is Lindsay. I grew up watching the Lindsay Lohan version of Freaky Friday. It's right in my, age group when it came out, and it was one of my favorite movies to watch with my mom, actually, which is so funny because it's a mother-daughter movie. But that was my first introduction to Freaky Friday, and when I saw that, North Shore was doing it, I was just so excited because I didn't know much about the musical version of it, but
Right.
I knew that if Tom Kitt, Brian Yorkey, and obviously the book by Bridget Carpenter, if anything regarding them is involved, I knew it would be absolutely wonderful. So it's such a fun show, and I'm so glad that I am able to do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just so fun, and the energy that was brought in the movie that I love is definitely still in the show.
Yeah, the music is just incredible. Like, I
Right.
think it's one of their best. I think it's one of their best scores for sure. I mean, I love it.
I would agree with that. So as you just mentioned, Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkey, who are known for their huge musical icons, who wrote If Then and Next to Normal. And then in 2015, 2016, they decided to adapt this, and it premiered down at the Signature in DC. So what is different in this musicalized version than from what people love from the movie?
I think it's very similar. I mean, don't you?
I think the plot definitely might be be different than the movie. It's not a word-for-word version of the movies that we love. It is special in its own way and has its own dialogue and its own story to some right. But you're still going to have the same heart and energy that you love from the movies.
Yeah, and I think with the music, what it does is, of course, propel the story much more. And also, I think it just really brings out the heart of the story, especially between the mother and the daughter. It's just,
Right.
the music is so special.
Going off that, you both have a really exciting opportunity that most actors don't usually get in a show, where you get to play two characters in one show, where you flip halfway through, towards the beginning. And I know you're in rehearsals right now, so how did you start this process, going from, did you decide you wanted to nail down like your mom and your daughter parts and then decide to switch? How do you start this?
Well, what's funny is that they took me a minute. Like, when I started reading the script, I was like, wait a second.
Right.
Because the mom, of course, I've played a lot of moms. The moms it's very natural to me. But also, I was a very, very bratty teenager. So, and Ellie is a bit of a brat. And so I actually really relate to that. We're both from Southern California. We both have a little bit of a dude kind of vibe. So I already shorten a lot of my words and do that kind of thing anyway, like, kind of a teenager's talk. So that came really easy. I think what we're really trying to embrace, both of us, is the physicality. But that's what the audience is going to really, that's how they're going to know that we've switched places, is the physicality and maybe some vocal quality. So we're both really working on that right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think piggybacking on that, for me, it's so funny because I've never been a grown woman. I don't have much experience in that. So it's interesting getting to pretend, and feel what a single mom of two would feel. I mean, it's really powerful for me because, my mom was a single mom. She had kids, and she was, very similar to Catherine with wanting things to go well and just be the best mom she could be. So I feel really lucky to be able to put myself in those shoes at such a young age and really have more appreciation for my mom and for single moms all out there. I mean, it's really an incredible job. So I think hard and easy to put myself in those shoes, but it's so much fun, and I just can't believe that I have the opportunity to play a mom at 21 years old.
It's great. You know, Gabe Berry, just as our director, just did something really fun. Yeah, in thinking about the process, we just with the first day got together and we actually read each other's lines. So I read everything as the mom the whole way through, and she read everything as the daughter the whole way through, which was crazy for our brains.
Right, I bet.
But it was so helpful because I got to see her behave, and she got to watch me behave as a mom, you know, the whole way through.
Yeah.
So that was like super smart and super helpful.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's such a smart idea. And I bet it's so fun, not only for you two, but for the entire cast and creative team to really work on a show like this. You just said there is so much, and the show is so much about family. What do you want audiences to take away when they come see this show?
I want them to have a really fun time,
Right.
but also I think that it's about the cool thing is getting to walk in somebody else's shoes, right? I know everybody probably says that, but it's that idea of you get to have a perspective that you wouldn't normally have, which I think we really need in the world right now, and I think is really awesome. The empathy of that, of getting to be in someone else's shoes and walk, and especially like your family, you know, a teenager not understanding her mother, and then coming to this understanding of who she is and getting to see that is such a magical, empathetic thing. And
For
so
sure.
it's really special.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think just it's all about getting to know each other on a different level than what we think. You know, it's a really powerful show, and unexpectedly so, I think. And just like Laurie said, getting to be in someone else's shoes, especially with your family, and a mom and a daughter, two things that are so different but so connected. I really hope that people leave the show feeling empowered, feeling like they can be vulnerable and feel what other people feel, and put their mind somewhere else.
Yeah, and talk more and communicate more and connect with each other, because even I want to call my mom after. I mean, really, I'm not being funny. Like, working on this makes me want to reconnect and be like, oh my God, I can't believe the things that I did, and get to see it through her eyes and see
Right.
what she went through, and I already have more empathy for her just reading the script. So that's pretty special.
For sure. North Shore Music Theater is such a local institution up here in the Northeast. What is it like working on a show there?
Well, it's my first time, and it's been incredible. Everything.
Yeah. I actually just posted a very big rant on my Instagram last night about how much I'm enjoying working here. The team here at North Shore is just incredible. I've never felt so supported by a team. And we're putting on this show. I mean, we need to have this show completely ready in 9 days, which is a very quick
Right.
process for a Broadway musical.
Especially a new show that a lot of people haven't done. Yeah.
Right.
So without the wonderful people over here at North Shore, I don't think doing a show like this in 9 days would be possible.
No, and they've done the homework. They're ahead of schedule. Everything is very, very organized, which is not always the case. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's really incredible. So I think we both feel very lucky to be here.
yeah.
That's awesome. Did you both, growing up, always know you wanted to be an actress, or how did that come about?
Did yours know?
Oh, yeah, I did. I've always been a lover of attention since a young age.
Mommy just laughed at that.
We actually had a really fun show and tell today where we brought in baby pictures. And one of my first baby photos is me in a sunflower head, giant sunflower head, and in like a Sears photo shoot. And I remember my mom telling me that I just absolutely loved it. At 1.5, I didn't cry, I didn't hate it. I was just living my best life, getting those photos taken. And I've kind of just always been like that. So when I was younger, doing theater and going into that kind of lifestyle was just kind of a no-brainer for my mom and I. So it's kind of always been a part of me. And when I was 15, I did my first professional show. And since then, I've been able to be lucky enough to get paid to do what I love. And I'm just so grateful that I've had the opportunity that I've had. At 21, I can't wait to see where this future holds. And I hope I love doing this forever.
You will. And I'm a similar story. I just was singing very early, always sang, and my mom put me in voice lessons. I also did, junior high choir, high school choir, like anything school related. I did all the community theater around town, which I think is a great way for anyone young getting started. I think that is it. That is where it's at. I would tell young people, just do any theater you can. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter who it's for. Just start performing and do it, because it's the same audience everywhere you go. Broadway, here, it's the same people watching you.
Right.
So just tell good stories and yeah, I mean, what really this show, I love telling stories. So, and stories that matter and that help us move forward as humans. And this is one of those stories. So
Awesome. Reading your bios, I went in and saw that you both have done some national tours. I know, Lindsay, you were just on the Kinky Boots tour, and Laurie, you've been in Mamma Mia and in American in Paris. I was wondering if you could talk to us just a little bit about touring life and if you stopped by Boston on your tours.
Touring is its own monster. It's absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever, experienced thus far. Doing Kinky Boots was one of the most, amazing experiences. So I just feel so lucky to have been able to do that. Touring is very different than I think any other kind of doing live theater, because you're moving around every day. Sometimes you're on a bus or a plane for 12 hours, and then you have to do a show, and then you have 3 hours of sleep, and then you get on a bus and a plane and do it again. So it's a really hard lifestyle. When people hear going on tour, they usually think of rock stars.
Right.
But it is kind of similar. The lifestyle is you do kind of feel like a rock star.
the thing that you love about tour, or that I love about touring, and I'm sure you do too, is that you make a family. It's so different from performing in a show in New York, like on Broadway, where everybody just goes home to their apartments and no one really hangs out, truthfully. I mean, maybe you go to, a couple cocktails and stuff, but on tour, you become a family. And I did Mamma Mia in Boston, and I also did, that's where we opened American in Paris.
Right. I was in that audience.
Oh, it was such a great night. It was such a warm audience, and the show is so huge. It was such a feat getting it up and getting it ready. But Boston was an amazing place to open that show.
Awesome. I love that. Do either of you have any dream roles that you want to tackle?
I'm always obsessed with, I've already done it, but I want to just do it for the rest of my life. Mother in Ragtime. I want to do it always, everywhere I go. If I could do one show, that would be it.
Great answer.
That's such a hard question. For me, I mean, it's so basic and unoriginal, but I would obviously love to be in Wicked one day.
Yeah, you want
and
this girl can sing.
I would love to be in Wicked one day. I think Elphaba is one of the best female written characters in, contemporary musical theater, and I would be honored to one day hopefully play that part. And honestly, I mean, this is very vague, but everything that is going on currently in New York on Broadway is something that I just love where Broadway is going. It's so progressive and contemporary and tells a lot of young people's stories, and I feel very connected to that. So I feel like any of the work that I get from now on is going to be a dream role for me.
Oh, I love that. And I can't wait to see you as Elphaba.
I can't either. I'll be there. Mommy will be there.
You both have had such great careers already. I know, Lindsay, you're just starting out. But one question we ask all of our guests here on Theater Talk Boston is, do you have any fun onstage mishap stories where a set falls down or someone skips half of their lines and ends up at the end of the show? Do you have any fun stories for us?
Funny story. Sorry, we had a little trouble understanding what you were asking. Funny stories.
Yeah, funny stories on stage, like something has gone terribly wrong.
Oh, I mean, always. I always end up like half naked on stage for some reason. I have no idea why. I mean, Mamma Mia might be the cause of that, but I've had, so many times, like speaking of tour, like quick changing into a Super Trooper and the button pops and you're just standing behind the set and then you just come out and do the number in face front and you don't turn around and you modify the choreography. And I've had someone holding my clothes shut. I've had dressers come on stage and pin me while I'm performing. I've, mostly being naked on stage.
Yeah, for some of these, that does happen a lot for me too. Just costume malfunctions seem to be a common occurrence, especially on tour because everything's happening so fast.
Yeah, new dressers.
Yeah. We went through a brief time on tour with Kinky Boots where there's a scene in the Act 1 finale called Everybody Say Yeah. It's an incredible number directed by Jerry Mitchell where we are using treadmills and dancing on treadmills. And these treadmills are supposed to be like for workers in a factory, but they're essentially just treadmills. And we're dancing on them and jumping on them and running on them. And it's an incredible, crazy, fast-paced number. And we had a few times where multiple treadmills would break down because maybe they weren't charged well enough. The bus ride was too long. They would get charged, whatever reason. And we would have to do these full numbers where we need 6 or 8 working treadmills with only 2 treadmills. We would have to figure out how to do choreography of running on a treadmill without a treadmill. And I would say that was pretty horrifying whenever it would happen. We would all just be like, all right, here we go. We got a broken treadmill. Let's just push it off the stage and do what we can. And luckily, multiple times that it happened, more towards the end of the tour when we had new treadmills, audiences, when we talked to them, said they didn't notice, which was great, but we noticed. So, but yeah, I mean, funny things are happening all the time on stage. The key is making sure the audiences know about it.
Right, of course. Well, I want to thank you both so much for chatting with me today. I've only chatted with you for about 15 minutes, but I can tell your chemistry together is just great, and I can't wait to see this show. Everyone should go see Freaky Friday at North Shore Music Theater, playing July 9th through July 21st. Kids 18 and under can save up to 50%, and of course, there's always $25 student rush available 1 hour before curtain at the box office with your ID, depending on availability. And get your tickets at nsmt.org. Thank you so much, ladies, and I can't wait to see the show.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you.
Have a nice
Bye.
day. Bye.
Bye.